Hi, YouTube. As a parent and a grandmother, I would really be, the word is remiss, if I didn't speak out on things that weren't the way God would want us to do them. And even society, even people that are godless. I mean, there's right and wrong ways to do things in society. And I was lucky today. Dr. Todd Grande, I think is how you pronounce his name, is a mind reader. And what I was going through with different people in my life and sending some of his posts through, they're just like perfect timing all the time now. And I've been watching them for about a month. So, um, is this guy is golden and very intelligent, and the studies and the science behind it for emotional mental health is he's amazing. So yeah, I'll just tell you a little bit of what's been going on in my life lately. um Yesterday it was all I could do. I mean, for years I had post-traumatic stress from the people I had been around, but I can't. Crimes were committed and they were never faced because these people had enough money to get out of that situation. And so when family members of mine or people that I know are going to be involved with these criminals, I have to say something about it because, and ethically, as a mom and a grandma, um, okay, I was speaking today on Facebook about how people ignore when their children are doing something lewd, like a little girl sitting with her legs open, or a little boy back talking, or talking smart alecky and stuff around adults, and the ethical things that kids do or don't do that a parent should put in check at that second for God. And I don't tolerate it at all. Um, like I wrote on there, I learned how to sit like a lady from somebody who didn't. That's the God in my heart when I was a little kid. I recognized what yuck was. Thank you, God. So um I don't let that type of thing go. So, but yeah, people were basically kind of singing the praises against my about my ex, but then I heard my own kid repeat the words that my ex used to say, I'm king of the kings and lord of the lords at me. And I used to say something like, you wish, or in your dreams, or like whatever, you know. At first, like the first time I heard him say it, I think I probably laughed, you know, but that thing really meant it, So I had all I could do not to get really angry. I ended up getting sad, and then I pulled myself out of that too. Well, friends like Dr. Todd and Robin's Hood rather. And I always do that. Well, see, he had a different channel too, but yeah, Robin in the Hood. But uh oh, and then ASC Direct deals with narcissists, and a lot of people over on Facebook that just rock, you know. They pull me through, you know. So yeah, but it was rough. It really was. Hearing them words again that I could live without ever have heard to begin with. But that's what these people literally think about themselves. They believe they are above everybody like that, you know, really. It's a, for instance, who can rape your own kid and move to another state and get out of paying child support, let alone not even go to jail after charges were pressed, you know. little things like that. So yeah, I was pissed, and I had to control it. It's like, you know, sometimes there's just no getting along with people, and you don't take criminals that have hurt children and say, okay, I'm going to get along with you in the future for the sake of the child, because nobody wants to be around another person like that. And being that I can't prove it, like a child, if I, okay, two kids in the house and one it happened to and the other it didn't, um but being in a messed up situation regardless should just scream that the child abuse was real bad, and that's why I kicked him out. So yeah, I went and got a legal separation right after I kicked it out, and then it tried to say that it sort of like walked out. I waited till it was drunk and I broke its leg and threw it down the stairs with the car keys after it, and then put knives in my doors so it couldn't come through in my windows, and waited up all night just in case. You know, slept real late until I moved because this man is dangerous, and he told me he committed murder. I can't even prove that. The things that these people do and get away with. And I'm just supposed to be quiet. So that's just a little bit on the light side of what's going on in my life. I thought I'd roll some cigarettes while I was talking to you and just speak what's on my mind, because it's good to have an outlet, though, to be able to speak and talk to people, because God knows what and who is going through similar things or has gone through that, who might be interested in hearing, what's going on in my mind. So, yeah, for whatever reason, you know. But yeah, I was so thankful for that psychiatrist and all the studies and his memorizing everything about mental health and emotional well-being, and it's like, holy smokes. Um if you haven't checked him out, like Dr. Todd Grande, um he's got, well, like for narcissists, for instance, he's got videos on every single kind, and of course, everybody has emotional issues on varying levels of any given thing. So nobody's like 100% okay. And that brought another thing. Oh, okay, that's what I was going to say though. If he's got some great stuff on studies that they've done with husbands that are narcissists, or wives, or both of them, if they're both narcissists, if they're the same type, and marriages like that, and I'm sure he's got ones on a mother and a child, or a mother and a daughter, or father and daughter, son, whatever. I'm sure he's got the gamut. I've just started watching him about a month ago, so I haven't seen, but when I come across something and it's like, and it might, and usually now it's been like any day that I was thinking something, it would come out lately. He'd put it out there. And I was thinking about social disorders, not just narcissism, but also like anxiety, and there's a thing called RAD, and that goes along with autism and hypertension, and they could be combined. He's pretty sure they probably are in a lot of people that have autism probably have the RAD too, or vice versa. But then I was talking about over on Facebook about how the emotional can become the physical, like making you sick, and the physical, or wait, yes, and the physical can become the emotional. If you're sick, that or injured, that can turn into emotional distress in your mental health too. So it goes vice versa. So But anyway, so Dr. Todd Grande, if you haven't checked him out, he's in my liked videos too. So yeah, definitely check them. There's a lot, and I want to go through them and probably go get some out. But I try to like videos if people are really out there doing a service, or I just happen to really like them, or if they're doing a service like for Robin's Hood with God in his heart. That's a service to me just there, because I know anytime I turn on to his channel, he loves other people. That's the number one issue right there. If there was anything else but that, but then you never know what he's going to be doing or talking about, not just things that are going to happen in the scriptures, and we're watching the elite pull their dirty little deeds and their agendas and whatnot. That's exactly what that is. And he knows whether or not they want to hide what days they're doing things or whatever, any guesses. And he's been right on a lot of things, but we just all know something's up, right? So part of what's up, and that's what I was going to touch on. Do you know how many generations have been stoned out of their gourds? I'm talking hundreds of years, if not thousands, but I'm literally telling you, we'll just go back as far as, say, the 1920s, when people were in opium dens, like in Chicago and China, wherever in the world, and hashish and heroin came into play in the 1940s, late 40s, early 50s, not sure now. But then they had Coca-Cola with real cocaine in it. We're literally talking hundreds of years of people being all screwed up. Mother's Little Helpers, like, okay, I'll go back to like the 40s again. Then we had these women, moms, doing codeine, and codeine was in cough syrup for children right up into the 50s and 60s. I had it, I know. And then into the 60s and 50s, they had Mother's Little Helpers. I had an aunt that was doing Valium, you know, every day, all her life. I don't know if she still does it, and she's getting pretty elderly, but I haven't seen a lot of my relatives for a very long time. But some of them I care about, and that one in particular was a pretty good lady, so adopted aunt, but uh not from that family though. I'm married into it. Okay. And then divorced, but anyway, long story. But yeah, the generations of drugs that people around the world have had for a very long time. And you think anybody's really in their right mind? Do you think that there's any one of your ancestors that wasn't messed up on something, if it at least it wasn't alcohol? The biggest drug around the world, everywhere in the world they have some type of alcohol, you know. And people have been like all messed up generations out of their gourds, having children, and their children have children, and it's one big messed up situation. Nobody's taken time to just slow down and clean themselves up. Some people do. Some people are like, wow, I realize this is like bad in our society, and it's been going on for a very long time, and something's up with that, because they knew what cocaine was when they were putting it in colas. They sure did. Talk about starting a way to dumb down society, and destroy families. And cocaine will destroy your family. Trust me. I've seen it, personally, firsthand. And then if you mix drinking and smoking and every kind of pill up and down and sideways and everything else in the world, then you're dealing with pretty, pretty whacked out human being, you know. Can expect somebody to try and think or be in their right mind when they really have pickled it their entire life. They're not 100% there. Satan helps them carry in society if they're out there doing stuff. Oh, yeah. They'll stay just above as well, or they'll do it blatantly right in front of people, and it's like I can do whatever I want type of thing. That's their attitude in life. And they do. I know they'll pay for it, but yeah, they do. Oh. Yeah, that takes me back too. Like my ex-father-in-law was put into a insane asylum for violence and God knows what else. A couple different times, and he escaped and tried to go back and kill his whole family. And probably alcohol generated, but God knows what else he did in his life too. You know, and mental illness is real, and alcohol can cause that. I've seen it. I know it. They say it burns out your brain cells, and then they say no, it actually really doesn't. No, it doesn't burn your brain cells. It just numbs them to death. It's like um, it disconnects your feelings from your soul, literally. It sure does. So, yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on. Kind of a lot. Plus, so my doggone horse got into my bird feeder last night. She got under a rope that I had roped off because Doug left it up, but whatever. So she got in there and she ate it all. I had to go back on the squirrels. Well, there was a chickmunk out there this morning, and it was holding a leaf like it was praying, and it was looking at me like, look, I have to eat a leaf. I'm like, oh, God, okay. So I got out there and put all kinds of stuff. I had some potato chips and some cat food. I wanted to make my cat's dish all fresh, so and some corn, and then I put corn in the bird feeder for them because the squirrels are part carnivore too. Even the blue jays will eat cat food, but the squirrels and the chickmunks for sure will. So yeah, and then the birds, of course, eat the corn. The little birds, bunnies, and bunnies will eat. They'll eat like if they had to, they would eat a mouse. You know, but yeah, they don't really eat meat, but they could. Their system could digest it, and they've been known to like eat a small rodent, that type of thing. So, but usually they're herbivores. So, did you know that you have to file down a bunny's teeth? Um, just like a horse, if they don't get the right kind of care, there's a little kind of, it's a pumice block from lava stone, and you buy them, and same with gerbils or hamsters. Any of them with them front teeth like that, them teeth grow. And when you get this little rock for them, and they chew on it and they trim their own teeth all the time. So the ones out in the wild have different rocks and things. They literally keep their teeth filed off. Interesting, huh? Yeah. So, hope everybody's doing good. Crazily happy every day, regardless, even if I can be sad and happy at the same time. I'm sure everybody can. That's kind of how life is. If you have these people that are just sad, you're probably a narcissist. If they're just sad and you can't get out of it and they're dwelling in their depression, they might like it. you know. if I start getting depressed, and I have been because well, I had some heavy things go down. So I always say there's no pill for depression. There's only God, because there's really no cure for it. But it's sadness. You get depressed when you're sad. You get depressed when you're sick. That type of thing. So yeah, yeah. Got his pissed yesterday. Bastards. You know, ignorant. And that's a post I passed around too. People ignoring what they know God would want out of them, and how they should teach their children of God when they're little. And if they don't do that, that's going to be a problem with God. There's be a big issue, big issue. You know, when you don't teach your children right. You know, teach them manners, teach them how to stand, like, and sit and bend over like a lady. That type of thing. Or squat down with not your whole posterior up in the air. And guys need to kind of like not dangle their crap around either. Kind of showing mutual respect for everybody in the world. That type of thing. Little things that we teach our children, or should teach our children. Like I taught mine, and perhaps they will abide by God's wishes. But like I told them, you're men. You need to be leaders in this world. You want to be leaders. You want to be the man of a household. Then do it right. And one thing you can't do and think that it's not an issue is looking at a woman in a lustful way. They aren't free for it's not a look, but not touch society. No matter what people say, if you look at somebody in that respect, you just hurt a part of God, yourself, and another part with that right there. It might seem small to people. No, if there's like somebody's got beautiful eyes, or somebody's got a nice figure and they take care of their self, or their smile is just radiant, or that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about looking at somebody beautiful and saying, hey, cool, you're cool. you know I'm talking about the lustful thing, that looking to see, like, gee, how big are your things, that type of stuff. um those are the things that we should be teaching our children, to keep their souls safe. you know and then I asked people on Facebook, well, what would be anything wrong with, you see anything wrong with the little girl sitting there with their legs spread open with a dress on? Does anybody see any problem with that? How about a little boy talking back and being a smartass, and acting like a little belligerent man? Not even a man, but a belligerent one at that. Does anybody see a problem with these things? You know, I do. I have a big problem with it. You know, see, my kids know around me. Like, they met somebody, they walk up and shake their hand, and then they kind of were a little passive, and humble, until they get away from me, and now it's like, well, I think the older one's kind of growing out of that, but younger ones got some working to do yet. So, for real, getting there though. But this world is too lax when it comes to what's really right and wrong, and they don't recognize the depth of it all for all of us. It's not just one person that's inflicted when somebody does something. It chain reacts in the world. Another one person does it, another, then another, then another. How many times is somebody going to be violated before they finally want to speak out? So, I was violated before I could speak. you know So maybe that's why I'm out here doing it, so nobody has to go through that type of thing. It's intolerable. All of it, even to the tiniest thing. Conditioning a child that this behavior is okay can only endanger their souls, maybe their lives, you know? And like I say, who would think, like, oh, a 6-year-old sitting there with her legs spread, how could that endanger anybody's life? Think about it. How could that happen? All kinds of things could happen, you know? And a little boy running his mouth. Um, wow. No way. No way. Uh-uh. No. I mean, I'm not the kind of parent that would say I'm not going to give you any supper or nothing like that. There are people like that. Um, Mine might have went without one meal, but I won't give him dessert. I'm not going to sit there and say, "Oh, you're such a sweet little guy. Here's some pumpkin pie," something like that. It's like, hell no. Here's a good meal. Go to your room and shut your big mouth. Find a book, sit down and be quiet, you know. Or put them on the couch. I would put them on the couch and I'd say, okay, got a choice. You can exercise with me or you can sit on the couch and meditate. Take your pick. So, or just quiet time. It is quiet time. No quiet time, no treats. Want to go swimming next week or in a couple days or whatever, or want me to take you out sliding or whatever, then you need to be quiet, and it's called quiet time. And it is a barter system. It's called mutual respect of all human beings. People don't respect their kids, and they don't take care of them like they should either. I know that to be true. So, I was happy to see a lady wants to start a teen center like I wanted to do for the latchkey kids, but there was this it was called the Cobo Arena. It was a big, big old arena that is across from the high school that I wanted to rent. It was the only building available in them days for that type of thing, and I wanted to get like pool table and libraries, foosball, that popcorn, um, that Kool-Aid, whatever, cheaper things that the community could help pitch in for and give the kids a quiet room to study, do homework, some help, that type of thing, a place to gather and things to do, you know, board games, whatnot, till their parents got home. Kind of like a teen center, and then another area that was supervised for the younger crowd, right across from our high school, but out of the city limits. And even the bankers and the stores, they were like, yeah, we'll help you with donation boxes and different things, and a lot of people were really interested. Even a banker and the Chamber of Commerce, I was good to go. I just couldn't find the building, you know. And I'm sure, there was a lot of people interested. And I'm sure a lot of people in the community would have pitched in with all kinds of. One person had the pool table, you know. Another lady said she'd donate some of her time, and so like, hey, but because my kids weren't in my life at that time, and then they started being teenagers, and it was before they moved back to Minnesota when their other biological parent had them, or whatever. I call them sperm donor, had them. But they did come back home because he couldn't handle it. So anyway, but they weren't here. And after I got through having my nervous breakdown from having my kids go into hell, I decided, well, I'm not going to be no good for them if I fall apart and they come back home and they need me. So I pulled myself together, and I was was working at a little store by a lake and cashier and stocking and whatnot. We sold bait and VCR movies and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I got it together, but it wasn't easy. In the meantime, I actually moved to the neighbors for a while with my friend until Doug wooed me back home. But I actually was out here literally. It's before I got my horse and got sick. Um, that year was a very busy year. No kids and whatnot. And then I'd be right down the street if my kids came home and needed me and all of that type of thing. So, and my oldest son was here. That's right. He was, him and Doug both. Well, actually, if it hadn't have been for my oldest son, I really might have just stayed away, you know. But he was here and they really weren't good for each other. A 19-year-old and I think he was like maybe, 50, maybe a little older. Somewhere around there. He's 69 now. So he's 8 years older, approximately. 7.5, 8 years. So, well, it's 7 years and um, three months, yeah. So, well, 7 years, 2 months, and mm, what the, okay, the math is different. He's born in April 20th, 4/20, 50, and I'm 2/15, 58. But anyway, I was trying to figure out the days, something like 5 days, 2 months and five, or maybe seven. 28, and April is 31 in the month, I think. So it's probably 7 days. Yeah. I don't know. Not doing math today very good. Some days I can do that. But I do have dyslexia. So with my numbers, like sometimes if I make a phone call, the last two numbers especially, I'll get them turned around. And if it is a 6 and a 9, that's real bad. And for some reason, like 1 4 and 7 1s are real hard on me. But I used to have somebody hand me my books upside down when I was a little kid. So I think, I can't prove this, but I think, and I wonder if anybody else, if you have any dyslexia, a lot of people will get that when they're tired. They will say things backwards or write things backwards, or you kind of just see it different. You might see a word different, like the letters, even. I'm really good at word search, them things. I was even better than anybody else once I learned how to read because I was used to reading all goofy. So, yeah. And it was really hard to get through school being goofy. So, um, yeah, sometimes I get a little sound pompous about my accomplishments, but without God, I know I wouldn't be nowhere. I wouldn't be able to do anything. I wouldn't even be able to read, you know? So, yeah, and that could come from my parents' drug use and forefathers, foremothers, grandma doing Valium, God knows, codeine, inner cough syrup, whatever, you know. It's been generations and generations. Well, everybody, I'm going to let you go. It was a little hard to get on here, but the people that love me, and I love you too, um, I wanted to get on and say hi for you because I know there's not a lot of people out there telling the truth and trying to help other people or that really even care. So, and I do. I really do. So, thank you for joining me. And I'll probably be back tomorrow. If I'm not, just know that I'm pretty wiped out, but I'm going to try and be here. That's all I can say. So wish me the best because I want to write that song and I want to work on my bedtime story, but just with everything that's like craziness around me, God, please, um, feel me. So peace in love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Oh, oh, I take that back. Don't feel me. Feel for me. You don't want to feel me. Sorry, guys, people, ladies and gentlemen.